भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Mundaka Upanishad. We are now on the third Mundaka and the first chapter of the third Mundaka. We are at the end of the first chapter. Today we are supposed to study the 9th shloka and the 10th shloka, with which the first chapter comes to an end. Before we go, we have covered a lot of ideas through these various shlokas. The main theme is that we have to experience the real content and meaning of who am I, what am I. We keep on saying I am, I am, I am. We keep on saying so. But when we say so, we identify ourselves with what we are not. Atasmin tat buddhi. That is how it is explained in our Sanskrit literature. We identify ourselves with which we are not, really not. We identify ourselves with which is not our true original nature. And that is the cause of our misery. We have seen in the first 2 shlokas of this chapter an example being given in a huge flourishing tree full of fruits and flowers, full of vegetation and etc. One bird at the lower level of the tree keeps on picking at various fruits and making faces, reacting to the taste of those fruit, absolutely raw, middle ripe, partially ripe, fully ripe. And each picking gives a reaction from making grimaces and faces, pain, enjoyment, absolute pleasure. If we look at our lives, we will see our life also swings like a pendulum between pleasure and pain, happiness and sadness, joy and misery, ecstasy and agony. And it is a constant flow. And we know this is our life. And who is enjoying or suffering? That person who feels I am and I am involved with this. He suffers the swings of his mood. That is the example of a bird at a lower level picking at fruits and making faces. The other bird of the same plumage, of the same shape and size, everything is identical. He sits at the topmost branch of the tree, swings rhythmically in the breeze, and looks out the 360 degrees, the panorama landscape. And he enjoys himself. He keeps on whistling. He is only an observer, a witness, an eternal seer. He only sees, does not react. This is an example. That example is being slowly and slowly described in detail, and also while describing in detail, in a hidden manner, instruction is to be seen. That is, your goal which is being described, and how to reach that goal is being also instructed. Prior to that, after these first two shlokas, the third and the fourth shloka say, the third shloka explains what happens to the person, to the bird of the same plumage sitting at the top. What is the suggestion here? Two birds of the same plumage, absolutely identical. The difference lies in attitude towards their life and their existence. The bird at the lower level, the Jiva Atma, that is a normal, ordinary human being, he is involved. He's pecking at fruits. He's interacting with the world. And while he is interacting, he is going through a world of different reactions. What is the action? His involvement, and the reaction is of infinite nature. Whereas in this very same body, your true original nature exists, of which you have no identification at all. You are not at all identified, not even identified. You are somehow or other, you are forgetful of your true original nature. When you are aware of that nature in this body, never move out of this conviction. In this body, experiencing is only available through this body-mind complex. This is a mechanism through which you experience. Now, because of your involvement with the world, your experience is variable. As soon as you withdraw from the world and you concentrate on the idea, who am I, what am I, you clean yourself clean, absolutely taintless, no opacity, totally reflective. What happens? Your true original nature, which is ever present, it blossoms out. Just like when your backyard swimming pool is crystal clear, and there is no wave there, no ripple there, you stand and you see the beautifully mosaicked floor of the pool comes up to the surface and you see it. Similarly, when this antakarana, this chitta, this inner organ is absolutely unattached and free of all pollutants, your true original nature blossoms forth. And you experience who am I, what am I, in its real identity. This is what he wants to say in this example. In the third shloka he says, Yada pasya pashyate rukma varnam aditya parnam purusha. When this experiencer experiences his true original nature, where in the core of his heart, in the core of his being, not outside in the world, it has to be experienced within this body-mind complex, which has a capacity of experiencing. Then he becomes absolutely taintless, sorrowless, miseryless. He is in an ecstatic divine joy, which is his original nature, Sat Swarup, ever existing, Chit Swarup, ever awareness, Ananda Swarup, ever ecstatic divine joy. He identifies himself. Now the question is, the teacher is telling you, describing to you, to whatever extent possible, what is your goal. He has said so. But I would like to know, why don't you teach me how do I reach that goal? Where do I find him? This is our question, the people who would like to reach that state. The sadhakas or sadhikas, immaterial. We would like to reach that state where it is undisturbed, ecstatic, divine joy. You are only telling me there is a place which is to be found within yourself, not high up in cloud 9. But why don't you tell me the methodology, the technique, the procedure? He tells you, but he tells you in such a manner that you should be qualified enough, you should be competent enough to decipher what he is saying in a so-called garbled manner. It is not garbled, but it is garbled because I see it as garbled manner. Why? Because I have not raised my level of awareness to that level of understanding. So firstly, in the third shloka, in the third shloka, he says, and then he says, the topmost level of that awareness. Esha Brahmavidam Varishta. What is that? Brahmavid is a person who has experienced his true original nature. He is Brahmavid. Now we find ordinary, comparative, superlative. Brahmavid, Brahmavid Vara, Brahmavid Variyan, Brahmavid Varishta. Superlative, best amongst all. Now, the question is, Brahmavitta, one who knows Brahman, there is no percentage of knowing. Either you are a Brahmavit or you are not. Not that I am 10% Brahmavit, 50% Brahmavit, 70% Brahmavit. No, it is either it is whole or it is none. Then why does the Upanishad here use the word superlative? Esham, of all these Brahmavettas, all these people who have experienced their true original nature, such a person who fits in with these qualifications is supposed to be the superlative, the supreme, the best of the lot. And I've given you example of 3 Brahmavettas coming and staying in the part of a village and how they behave. The superlative comparative state is how he has absorbed this experience, and having experienced it, how he manifests that end result of that experience. He sits in a cave and he spends his time in samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi, constantly aware with his true original nature. He is unmindful of the world. That's it. He is a Brahmavit. The other, he moves around and does good to people. But he is not involved to that extent. He is involved to keep his body, mind together, to be alive, to remain alive. And a third person is actively involved with humans for their betterment, for their peace of mind, and for their tranquility, serenity, equanimity. Of the 3, whom you will say is the best? The one who is utilizing his experience of oneness of the universe by behaving as if this whole world is his Vasudha, that is the whole cosmos. Eva, Eva here means with total conviction. Vasudha eva kutumbakam. Kutumba means relation, as close as blood relationship. Now the relationship through the soul, through the Atman. Vasudha eva kutumbakam. He is Atma Kriya, Atmarati, Kriyaban. He is positively involved, actively involved in welfare of the society in and around him. He does not spare himself, but he is immersed in Brahman, he plays with Brahman, and he enjoys meditating on Brahman. Atma Kriya, Atma Rati, Kriyavan. All this has been said. And then slowly and slowly, in the 7th shloka, he starts, 7th shloka and 8th shloka. We have studied it very well. I'll just have a flying visit through it, as it were. He says, now, Brahman is expansive, without limited by space, without limited by time, without limited by modulation. Desha, Kala, Nimitta, Atita. Beyond that. and it becomes a subject matter of my experiencing. So in one shloka, shloka number 7, which we have read very well, but as I told you, let me have a flying visit through it. Brihatcha taddivyam achinta rupam. It is brihat, beyond the concept of space. But it is not gross matter, divyam, alaukikam, effulgent. Nothing in the world can be compared with it. It is beyond the concept of the limitations of the world. Nama, name, form, shape and size, guna, qualities, artha, kriya, karita, utilitarian value. Name, form, qualities, utilitarian value. These 4 concepts limits the world for us, makes it perceptible by my sense organs. It is beyond that. But it is divyam, it is self-effulgent. It doesn't need an ever-ready torchlight to see. It is self-effulgent. It is the cause of all awareness. It is awareness in itself. Brihatcha tabdivyamachinta rupam shukshmacha tat shukshmataram bibhati. It is subtlest of the subtle that you can ever conceive of. According to physical sciences, ether is the subtlest in physical concept, ether. But the ether is known to you by its isness. Ether exists. That existence is He. That existence is He. So, shukshma chatat shukshmataram bibhati. That is, I say, I understand what ether is, and because of my understanding, I know what ether is. Ether is. That isness is everywhere, to the minutest speck of matter, to the subtlest speck of idea. Isness. Satta. Satchit Ananda Satta. Brihatcha tad divyamachinta rupam shukshma tat shukshmataram bibhati durat sudure. Stretch your imagination to whatever extent in space you can. Is beyond that. And closeness is the closest of the closest, your true original nature. I am is the closest of the close experience. Durat sudure tat iha antikecha. And the last line, patsatsu ihaiba nihitam guhaya. A person who has educated himself, who has disciplined himself, who have developed these fineness and, I would say, finesse of his own faculties, he experiences it where? Nihitam guhayam, in the cave of your own heart, where you are supposed to meditate on your Ishta. He is to be found there. Now, dear, in this shloka, he explains to you, to the extent you can stretch your imagination, What is that concept of Brahman? What is the concept of Chetana Chit? And where is to be found? Within yourself, in the depth of the core of your heart. This is the seventh. The eighth looks at it in a different manner, but the conclusion is the same. Na chakshusha grijyate. You don't see it with your eyes. Na anyay devai. Not the other four sense organs. Chakshu, karna, nasha, jihva, tvacha. Eyes, ears, nose, skin, and tongue. He only says, chakshusha na grijyate. It cannot be objectified by your material vision. Vision is matter, whether it is gross, a chair, or the subtlest of the subtle idea. Chakshusha na grijyate. Napi vacha. Neither you can describe it by words. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Brahman cannot be explained by words. Brahma kakhano uchishta anna. You can't pronounce it by your mouth. Napi bacha. Nanyar devair tapasya karmanava. It cannot be perceived by other sense organs, nor by tapasya done with a desire-oriented motivation, or karma performed with a desire-oriented motivation. It cannot be had. How can it be had then? How can I then experience it? You educate yourself by those 9 disciplines. Never forget those 9 disciplines. What are those? Viveka, Vairagya, Sama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhan, and Mumukshatya. Intense desire to reach that goal. Stop not till the goal is reached. That is what is said. Uttishtata jagrata prapyavaran nibodhata. Arise awake and stop not till the goal is reached. That is how Swamiji translated it. So how can you get it? Jnana prasadena vishuddha shattaha tatastu tam pashyate nishkalam dhyayamana. Tam tatastu tam pashyate. Thereafter, tatah means thereafter. After what? After you have fulfilled these conditions. Vishuddha Shatta, Jnana Prasada. 2 conditions. Your personality, your being, your antakarana, the inner organs, manabuddhi, chitta, ahankara, all that must be absolutely pure, taintless, unpolluted. What does it mean? Total detachment from worldly matters and a total control on your own faculties. Vishuddha Satta, you have purified yourself by a total control of these 9 disciplines practiced in you, and you are absolutely crystal clear, pure. And when you are so, it blossoms within you. Nishkalam tatastu pashyate nishkalam dhyayamana. In the depth of your meditation, you will be experiencing that. So in one way, he is describing what it is, and from the other perspective, he is telling you how to reach that goal. This is shloka number 8. Now, in the same vein, in the same manner, he explains the 9th shloka. Let us read the 9th shloka. Prano hi esha. No, I'm sorry. At 9th shloka is Esha anur atma chetasa veditabhya jasmin prana panchadha sannivesha pranaisya chittam sarvamotam prajanam jasmin vishuddhe vyavati esha atma. This is the shloka. Esha anuratma chetasa veditabhya. In this body, jasmin sharire prana panchadha sannivesha. Jasmin, in which? Literally in which. What is that in which? Sharire, in this human body. Pranaha, the cosmic force divided into 5 parts. Prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. 4 cosmic forces have been classified to be active in this body. Inhalation, exhalation, yawning, blinking, and movement of the inner wind, belching and etc. They are all nothing else but different manifestations of the cosmic force known as prana, the life force. Those 5 life forces are in this body. Jasmin, prana, panchadha. 5 aspects of that cosmic energy known as life force, which is available, which is perceptible in my body as prana, exhalation, apana, inhalation, and vyana, udana, samana. These 5 forces of cosmic prana, the cosmic energy, life force, is active where? Jasmin sharire, in this body. There, in this body, esha anuratma veditabhya, this subtlest of the subtle Atman, though it is subtle, but it is ever expansive, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. That Atman, which is smallest of the atom or neutron. The neutron is that isness. So it is subtlest of the subtle, and that subtlest of the subtle, which is your true original nature, has to be experienced by you in this body where the 5 life forces are active. This is the meaning of the first 2 lines. Esha anur atma, this subtlest of the subtle, smallest of the small, Atman, which is in your body, under the display of your 5 life forces, has to be experienced, chetasa, has to be experienced by your awareness. It has to be experienced by awareness in this body where the 5 cosmic forces known as prana, exhalation, apana, inhalation, samana is balancing, udana is yawning and others, and vyana is belching and excreting. All that activity is in your body, and in this body, with those 9 disciplines and your controlled faculties, polished, sharpened, honed and purified. Polished, sharpened, honed and purified. When you do so, then that Atman of your Vibhavati, it blossoms forth, it manifests itself. Each soul is potentially divine. Purpose of religion or spirituality is to manifest that divinity already within yourself. That's how Swami explained, and that's what the Upanishad is. He explained in a very commonsensical word. This is also commonsensical, as because we do not know the language, it becomes Greek to us, unknown to us. He says, Sarvamotam Prajanam, that entity which is your true original nature. Sarvam Otam. Otam means permeating. There's not a speck of space where he has not permeated, percolated. Yes, not. There's not a speck. Sarvam Otam. Pranaisya Chittam Sarvam. My life force, my antakarana, all that I call as mine as of today, it is totally permeated by that. And we are forgetful about it. We are not aware about it. Pranay Chittam Saha. The life forces, the internal organ, Mana, Buddhi, Chitta and Ahankara. Life, Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara of all creatures of the world. Prajanam. There are quadrillion persons. He has permeated himself through and through to everybody. That is what he is. That is what my true original nature is. Pranaischa chittai sarvamotam prajanam jasmin vishuddhe. Jasmin sharire, with all that is this body-mind complex, with all the gross activities, that is active organs, the sense organs, the 5 life forces. Let me classify it. 5 gross organs. No, let me start it theoretically correctly. Panchabhuta, 5 elements of nature. Air, water, fire, ether. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Khiti, up, tej, marud, bo. 5 matter which creates this body. Fire, water, and earth, water, fire, air, ether. Then Pancha Karmendriya. 5 active organs, they are gross. Hasta, Pada, Pani, Upasta, Payu. Then 5 sense organs. So Panchabhuta, Pancha Karmendriya, Pancha Gyanendriya, Pancha Prana. 4 into 5 makes it 20. And thereafter, the subtle part is Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. 24 elements. We are consisting of these 24 elements. Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. Or Ahankara is the point, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta, the storehouse of all sanskaras, Buddhi, Manaha, Pancha Prana, Pancha Gyanendriya, Pancha Karmendriya, Pancha Bhuta. 24 elements. Chaturvinshati Tattva. Those 24 elements are in us. And that eternal reality, my true original nature, permeates through all that, not only in me, in every existing manifested thing in the world. This is the concept of Brahman. And when I think of myself, this ego, that separate, individualistic identity, my ego, then it is Atman. What is that Atman? In this body. Whom I experience in this body is Atman. And that Atman is nothing else but Brahman. But you first experience it at Atman, and then as soon as you know it within this I would say, body-mind complex of 24 elements, when you experience that, you experience it as I am that. That is, you can experience within you, but your object of experience, subject of experience is that. I am Atma Brahma. What I know as Atman residing in me, in reality, it is all. That is why the two words are used in contrast, Jiva Atma and Paramatma. Paramatma is Brahman, Jiva Atma is Atma. So dear, slowly and slowly, the Upanishadkar, Maharishi Angirasa, is teaching you, have a crystal clear, rock solid conviction. What is that Brahman is? Atman is. To the extent you can cultivate your faculties, increase its capacity to understand the subtlest of the subtle. We live in such a gross world all the time that we have lost our capacity in understanding the subtleties of life. We are gross, crude people. In our life, we say, oh, he's an unenlightened, uneducated, crude person. We say in our society, oh, he's an unenlightened, uneducated, he's a crude person, not worth being called a human being. He's like an animal, unenlightened. I am enlightened. From the other point of view, I am a crude person because I've forgotten my true original nature. So let me read this shloka again. This is the last but one shloka. He says, Esha anuratma chetasa veditapya. Now it is so clear. This subtlest of the subtle object known as the eternal subject, the Atman, has to be experienced by your capacity of experiencing, that is awareness. I am aware, which I say I am experiencing. It is objectified in the world. In the meditative world, it is subjectified. I am meditating on my true original nature. Esha aduratma veditabhya. Veditabhya is vidhiling. Vidhiling means that should be your goal, nothing else. That is the purpose of your life, to know that. Who am I? What am I? It has to be experienced as the subtlest of the subtle, which is my true original nature, the source of my awareness. Jasmine, in this body, Panchadha Sannivesha Prana. Prana, the life force, I am saying I am alive. Why? The 5 forces of life is working in me. What are those 5? I am inhaling, I am exhaling, I am yawning, I am blinking, and I am balancing my life force. I am alive. I don't allow it to disintegrate. It is all in this body, and with your refined awareness, you have to be aware of your true original nature. And I, he says, the Brahman or the Atman, I am permeating the whole universe. I permeate the Panchabhuta, I permeate the Panchakarmendriya, Panchagyanendriya, Panchaprana, the Mana, the Buddhi, the Chitta, the Ahankara. I am the 25th element who is everywhere. And I am the eternal element. Rest are all transitory. This is what he wants us to practice in our day-to-day life, so that we refine ourselves and develop that capacity of our faculty, human faculty, to such a manner that we divinize ourselves and be one with the Absolute. So dear, let us stop here today. It's a wonderful study. And tomorrow, the next day, we study the last shloka of this chapter. What does it say? It says, a person who has achieved that, he sees the whole world as himself. And because of his identification with the whole world belongs to him. Whatever he wishes will happen in point of time. Therefore, the people who are desirous to reach the goal should serve a realized soul. Because if he wishes, this will happen to you, may God bless you. God will bless you. May you be free. You will be free. And we have seen our lives. I'll tell you an incident. Swami Shivananda ji, Mahapurush Maharaj told somebody, Tor hobe, you will achieve that goal. That's it. Mahapurush Maharaj passed away. He plodded on in his spiritual life. At the end moment, he says, I know, understand now what Mahapurush Maharaj meant by saying, you will achieve, I have. It is a fact of life, not a cock and bull story. Bhuti kamaha, a person who is desirous to reach that goal, apart from his sadhana, apart from his self-effort, he can get an additional fillip. He can get a handicap, as it were, in the race. If he can serve a realized soul, who will tell you it will happen to you? It will happen. This is the last sloka of the chapter. Thank you, dears. Thank you ever so much.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna